What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Ox here with another video. If you're new to the channel, we do upload Pokemon Go content mostly related to PvP, and if you're a returning subscriber like Vinicius Passos Coutinho, thank you for the support. In today's video, we are taking a look at the team that got me to expert rank in the Master League Classic. This is a team that I have featured recently on the channel, consisting of a best buddy Dialga in the lead, Mewtwo operating as the safe switch, and Landorus Therian form in the back. With this team, I have been able to climb about 400 points in Go Battle League, having only one negative set, which was actually an 05, but the rest of them have all been positive, and it is a very strong team that I would highly recommend, especially if you're looking for a team to use for Go Battle Day, which happens on Saturday. This would definitely be the time to test out a team like this, and I think it would give you some good results. Mewtwo as a safe switch applies a lot of pressure. Oftentimes you are going to learn a Pokemon that may actually be weak to Ice Beam, such as Lugia or Melmetal, which could help you to flip switch, at which point Landorus Therian form does wall a lot of the steel types in the meta, and keeping those steel types away from Dialga is the best case scenario. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please consider leaving a like on the video. It really helps the channel grow. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and without any further ado, let's jump into the first battle right now. Alright, so let's jump into these battles. If you guys have not seen the first video using this team, I highly recommend checking it out. I will put a link to that video right up here. This is still a team that is relatively new. That video only has about 3,000 views, so not too many people probably expecting to see this team within the meta. Let's jump into the first battle right here, starting with a Giratina Altered form. This is a great lead for Dialga. It's somewhat close of a matchup, but you want to keep this Giratina away from the two Pokemon in the back. Usually when I see Giratina Altered, I am thinking Dialga plus either Kyogre or Togekiss in the back. And right here, we do see the opponent swap out into their own Dialga. So I'm going to throw the Iron Head here. A little bit risky. Probably makes more sense to just throw the Dragon, or Draco Meteor rather. But I do swap out into the Landorus Therian right here. Going to maybe let this go through. Iron Head will not KO. And it gives less farm for the Giratina Altered. So going to throw the Superpower right here. And that is going to be enough to take out the Dialga. Opponent comes back in with Giratina. Just going to throw this Superpower for some very little chip damage, and we get farmed down. Now I'll come back in with Dialga, but we are a little bit low already, and the Giratina does have some energy, so kind of weird spot right here. Of course, Giratina is going to cause issues for the Mewtwo, so I'm going to look to try and catch the Dragon Claw to Mewtwo. Kind of timed that a little bit poorly, so I do shield here, which I actually think is a mistake. And I believe the opponent actually should have stayed in that matchup, and they would have won this quite comfortably, to be honest, but they did decide to swap out into the Togekiss, which means I'm going to outpace two Ice Beams right here, which is going to take out the Togekiss. The Giratina will come back in. It will finish off the Mewtwo, but now it's going to be Dry and Energy, at which point the Dialga will come back in and farm down with Dragon Breath. So I didn't exactly play that game very well, but thankfully we were able to still win that. Fortunately, because I think the opponent probably misplayed that towards the end, but we will take those right there. Dialga mirror match here in the next matchup. Opponent does swap out instantly into Zacian, and we come in with the Mewtwo. Mewtwo is going to be our main answer here to Zacian, of course. It's a pretty good one in general, going to shield up the Play Rough. That is very nice. Trying to time this so that we get the CMP on the Zacian, or at least prevent the extra Snarl from sneaking in there. Going to throw the Side Strike here once again. Let's see if the opponent is going to shield up this time. They do. So I'm going to let this go through here. We should be able to survive and get off this Side Strike, but that is of course going to mean that the opponent could shield here and take switch advantage, which they are going to do. And I assume they probably have a second counter for Dialga in the back. So I come in with the Landorus here. I probably shouldn't be shielding this, to be honest, but I do. So the opponent swaps onto Groudon. Now at this point the game is over because I have no answer for this Groudon. Superpower comes through. Maybe I should just went for like two Stone Edges there. That might have been the win con, but either way I do come to Dialga. Obviously I'm gonna get Earthquakes right here. I felt Dialga had zero play because of the Zacian in the back. Gonna throw the Stone Edge, or sorry, not the Zacian, the Dialga in the back rather, I should say. So Stone Edge comes through, or it is Dialga. What am I even saying? Do I even know what I'm doing here anymore? Anyways, right here, the game, I went for the Superpower. This is not going to KO. As you can see, if I threw one more Mud Shot before that Superpower, it would have actually been enough to KO, and then we may have had a chance to win this game, but unfortunately, we are going to lose that battle right there. So GG's to the opponents. Let's hop into the next battle. We got Dialga into Giratina Origin right here, a very nice lead. These first sets are always the most, or rather the ones filled with the most mistakes, because I'm getting familiar with the team once again. I'm not playing a lot of GBL this season, so I usually take 1 or 2 days off in between sets just because I don't really have the incentive to play as much this season. Going for the Iron Head right here is going to get the shield swap out into the Landorus. I'm going to look to throw, but unfortunately it's CMP tie, so I will let this go through. And I'm going to build up to 2 superpowers. If they shield this, we will actually get to the second superpower. And oftentimes they do shield because they figure that they can farm down. Big mistake right there. This is going to take out the Dialga, and we take both shields plus switch advantage. Come in here with the Mewtwo, because at this point with the shield advantage, Side Strike is going to KO. We win CMP right here as well. That takes out the Giratina. Kyogre in the back. Just need to get to 2 side strikes right here, and we are going to be able to take this game. So bouncing back from a rough loss in the previous one, a very nice team comp here to see, of course, in this next battle, and we're going to win that game. So 2-1 heading into the next battle right here in the first set. Let's see what we're going to see in the lead this time. Once again, we are leading Dialga here, and we see a Groudon in the lead, so it's playable for Dialga, but if they bait with the Fire Punch, it's pretty rough. Giratina Origin coming in here right now. And I'm going to build up to the Side Strike throws. We have 2 ready, so let's see how the opponent plays this out. They do shield the first one. CMP here, going to... It's a tough call here. Omnis Wind is brutal, so you hate to see that. It's hard to let it go when you have energy here, but now I set myself up for a disaster because I will get to this Side Strike, but they could just shield this and pretty much commit to the farm down, and they're going to be loaded on energy right here. So yeah, calling the Omnis Wind bait versus Shadow Ball there is very, very tough. And here I'm going to tank 1 Shadow Ball. I figure there's no way they could get to a second one. This just seemed way too early. I was not counting. And unfortunately for me, it is the Shadow Ball. So this game is officially over. Even though it's a Lugia, this is actually playable for Landorus here with the Stone Edge. I basically have no answer for that Groudon in the lead. So things are looking very, very rough right here. I do have the Sky Attack, or I do shield the Sky Attack, going to build up to another Stone Edge. Looking to overfarm a little bit, but at this point I realize the game is over. No points have even played this out to this point. Wanted to see if Landorus could take out Lugia right there, and of course it did. So we back out of that matchup. I didn't want the smoke. Let's hop into the next battle. Looking to salvage the positive set here in the first set of battles. 2-2, we see a Ho-Oh lead. And I've tried catching Earthquake onto Landorus so many times and failed. Let's see if we can do it this time. There it is, Landorus coming in. Hopefully it's an Earthquake, still risky. Thankfully it is. So the Ho-Oh here is going to stand and still get a shield out of us because Brave Bird is going to knock us out. So we are going to shield that. They swap out into Zarude, and we do have some superpowers here. Superpower does a lot of damage to Zarude, so we see the first shield come up. They could definitely no shield these second ones, but we see a couple of laggy moments right there. Going to throw the superpower once again. They are going to burn their second shield, and we get to a third one right here. Now they are going to farm us down, but we do have a shield advantage, so we will come back in here with the Dialga. Look to tank 1 move. I actually was hoping that we would win CMP here, or not win, but knock out the Zarude with Iron Head right there. Unfortunately, that's not the case. That would have been best case scenario right there. But Zarude is surprisingly tanky, and I am going to shield this second one. The opponent swaps out. A pretty risky play right there. I was calling the simultaneous swap. If I brought Mewtwo into that Zarude, I guess we would outpace the Side Strike anyways if need be, but pretty risky play right there. Ho-Oh does come in. It's a Meloetta in the back, so thankfully they brought the Ho-Oh and not the Meloetta, because this game would have been a pretty big issue right here. Ice Beam for the neutral damage is going to be very nice right here. I actually thought that I had a shield. That's why I didn't throw the Side Strike. Had I known that I didn't have a shield, obviously I would have thrown that because it would have made this matchup right here a lot easier in the end. But thankfully we do still reach the Iron Head, which takes out the Meloetta. Zarude comes back in, we farm that down. We do salvage the 3-2 set, so off to a positive start right here. That should get us over 2,700. Let's see if we could hit expert rank in the next set of battles. So jumping into set number 2 here, still rolling with the same team. And let's see what we're going to see in the lead this time. It is Dialga into a Togekiss. So usually the way I like to play out this matchup is to throw the Iron Head and then swap out into the Mewtwo. In most cases, they're pretty much always going to shield the first Iron Head right here. And then we come with Mewtwo. It's going to apply a lot of pressure with the Side Strike, of course. So this time the opponent does actually swap out into Metagross. As you can see, I overfarmed. I actually could have landed that on the Togekiss if I threw immediately, but it's fine. Metagross comes in here. I do build up to the Shadow Ball, which would actually be enough to KO here. So we do force the shield out of the opponent. This is very, very good. Ice Beam is actually slightly more energy efficient against Metagross, but it doesn't really matter. More likely to get off Side Strikes than Ice Beams here because of the lower energy cost. Going to come in with the Landorus right here, and I am going to shield this. Landorus, of course, could still hit that Togekiss for super effective as well with the Stone Edge, so overfarming quite a bit here. Going to throw the Superpower, which will take out the Metagross. Togekiss comes back in, going to look to land this Stone Edge right here. Bang! Back-to-back KOs. Kyogre in the back. The opponent doesn't want the smoke, giving up on that match like James Harden on defense. We take that game. Let's hop into the next one. Dialga into Kyogre right here. So Dialga, very nice lead. We see Shadow Tyranitar, which is very, very spicy. A good answer here in Landorus, but as you can see, those bites are absolutely chunking away at the Landorus, doing more than these mud shots. And superpowers are going to, of course, threaten the Tyranitar to KO. So they are going to double shield, take switch, and have a bunch of energy. Now, it is possible for Tyranitar to run Fire Blast, which would be extremely spicy, but it's possible. So I am going to respect that and shield up here. It's only a crunch. Wasn't sure if I could actually farm down before a second crunch came through, so I'm just going to throw this Iron Head, get rid of this thing right here, see what the opponent wants to do. They come with Togekiss. I'm going to swap out into the Mewtwo. At this point, I realized I was in a pretty weird spot because I need to sort of have some chip damage for the Togekiss, so I throw the Side Strike right here. And right here, the opponent gets that weird waterfall plus charge move animation visual glitch thing, so I didn't shield, which is definitely a big mistake. I should have shielded, and I didn't throw bubbles here because I figured I needed energy lead on my Dialga, but then I realized Dialga actually won't KO Togekiss from that health range with an Iron Head, and the opponent thinks I probably need energy too, so we wait here till the end. They thought that they could knock me out, I guess, before the Psycho Cut registered there, but thankfully for us, we get this Side Strike off, which is huge chip damage, so both of us sort of threw the game in a sense. Like, first I threw it by no shielding, then the opponent threw it by not taking out the Mewtwo and waiting to lower their HP. So that was a really weird game, but ended up working out for us. Loco Sui in the next match. Huge shout out to you, subscriber to the channel. We got Dialga into Zekrom right here. Swaps out into a Shadow Mewtwo, so probably looking to get some content out there with the Shadow Mewtwo. And this is pretty much my only answer to this Pokemon, so I have to stay in here with the Dialga, of course. And could be a Focus Blast. I'm going to respect that. I'm going to shield up. Side Strike still hurts a lot. I'm going to let this one go through and see if I could actually farm down here before they get to another move. I was counting and it did look like we could, so I committed to that. Let's see what they're going to do right here. Comes in with the Ho-Oh. I'm going to build to the Draco Meteor, either get the shield or maybe knock out the Ho-Oh right here, swap out into the Mewtwo. And I am going to respect the Brave Bird, of course. I know that Mewtwo has a decent matchup against Ho-Oh and Zekrom. Now, I could throw Ice Beam, which will actually be dealing more damage, but what I want to do here is throw this Side Strike and have enough health on that Zekrom for my Landorus to come in after and farm down if I didn't KO there with the second Side Strike, which is the case. Landorus now will be able to farm this down. We will have the Stone Edge ready to go on the Ho-Oh, and he sees the writing on the wall. Doesn't want that Stone Edge, backs out of the match. GG's to you. Big shout out to you once again. Loco Sui, thank you for the battle. Let's hop into the next match. We got Zacian lead right here, which is one of the worst to see. Swap out into the Mewtwo. We get met by Dialga. Now this is a matchup where you could take switch advantage. However, switch advantage isn't actually that important because we don't have a great answer for Zacian, so probably better to take a shield advantage out of this, I would imagine. Going to throw the Side Strike right here, and the opponent is going to throw a move. Now, I shielded here, like my shield here was basically in the hopes to get the second shield from the Dialga. Probably not the greatest idea. It would probably been better to just let the Mewtwo go down and then come in with the Dialga with the shield advantage, because now I'm going to be forced to burn the shield anyways, so kind of a weird spot here. And they are going to swap out into the Zacian, so close combat won't KO. I will be able to just barely survive, get off this Iron Head, which will knock out the Zacian, but it's going to come down to what their final Pokemon in the back is. and in this case, it's not something we like to see. It's going to be a Mewtwo, and it's going to get an energy lead, and this game is basically over because Landorus here. My only win con is maybe to catch a move, so I actually went way past 7 here. Thought they would throw at 8 or 9, and they didn't, so very well done there from the opponent. They probably knew the count on Stone Edge, waiting for me to get to that move exactly. Hit me with the Ice Beam, take me out. Very, very well played by the opponent right there to win that game. Let's hop into the next one. So we're leading Dialga this time into the mirror match. So best buddy Dialga versus best buddy Dialga. We do meet all the breakpoints. And right here, it looked like I did get one Dragon Breath ahead because of that go lag at the start. The opponent probably behind on energy here, which is unfortunate for them. I am actually going to allow them to take me out right here. And then I will come in with the Mewtwo and look to get a big farm. Of course, we will be even on shields, so I could pretty much shield here, commit to the farm down. Opponent's staying in. They go for the Draco, and they still stay in after Draco, so I'm loaded on energy. There's almost nothing that could threaten a Mewtwo with this much energy in this move set. So Side Strike on the Giratina. Going to throw another one right here. And I could pretty much win this matchup out right now with the shield advantage. So I will look to shield the move from the Giratina. And then take it out here with the next Side Strike. They swap onto Zacian. I didn't throw immediately just in case they did try to catch a move. And right here, Zacian's going to catch the work. We have 2 Side Strikes already. This is going to be enough to take it out. Landorus will come in here and finish the game off against that Giratina Origin. Just need to get to a Stone Edge right here. We could survive a Shadow Ball from this range. So Stone Edge coming through, going to take out the Giratina Origin, and we're going to win that game. So the Dialga lead usually doesn't play out that way often. One of us will maybe swap out, but in that case we did. We end up going 4-1 in that second set of battles. And is that going to be enough to take us to expert rank? Just a little bit short, 27-48. Let's hop into the next set. So jumping into the third set of battles right here, we are 2 elo points away from expert rank. We got Dialga into Kyogre, a very positive lead to see right here. The opponent throws one waterfall and then swaps onto their own Dialga. Maybe a misclick trying to click on the Dialga. I've done that a lot of times myself. I am going to shield up the Iron Head right here. And I go for a really weird play. I go for the Stone Edge because I was expecting the shield, but they don't. So that is a huge break for the opponent, and I'm kind of kicking myself right now. Of course, they're not going to shield. They have Kyogre in the back. Why would they shield? But that Stone Edge does force them to shield right there, and that's going to get the second shield out of them. But they are going to win switch. And they might be adding another move right here. It's really going to come down to whether or not they are. Looks like they're not. Dragon Breath comes through, takes them out. So that actually worked out a little bit okay for us. Togekiss comes in, going to throw the Iron Head right here. Swap out into the Mewtwo. This game is over. Going to throw the Side Strike. And maybe I'm saying that a little prematurely, but let's explain why it's over. Side Strike comes through. We're going to shield here, build up very close to 2 Side Strikes here because we can survive some waterfalls. Don't want to throw immediately. Get to just 1 short of the next Side Strike. This will knock out the Kyogre, and we'll get off this next Cycle Cut before the Charm takes us out. Side Strike here, going to be enough. Charm even wouldn't take us out there, so you guys know what I'm saying. We basically just needed to build up to 2 moves right there to win that game after shielding the Surf. So 1-0 here. 2 more wins and we should be at expert rank. I didn't really care for better than 3-2 in this. I just wanted to hit expert rank and kind of take some days off from GBL because I'm kind of over GBL at this point. The game is in such a horrible state. We see Melmetal come in here, going to swap out into the Landorus Therian form. A lot of players have been asking me about Landorus Incarnate. I prefer Therian form for this team because based on the simulations, Therian does win some matchups in the 1 and 0 shields that the Incarnate form would not win, mostly against like the flying types like Lugia, Ho-Oh. The Stone Edge with that extra damage is going to pay a lot of dividends right there. So let's see what the opponent's going to do here. Comes in with the Giratina Origin. We're going to get off this super debuffed Stone Edge, but still does a decent chunk. And I actually get to a second Stone Edge here, which is very nice. Going to put this Giratina very low right here. Let that go down. Come in with the Dialga, swap onto the Zacian. Mewtwo pretty much beating me to the punch here. Coming out of its ball before I even clicked on it because it wants this Zacian really bad right here. Side Strike coming through. We are going to shield up the move right here, hoping it is a play rough. It's a wild charge, not optimal. Going to throw the second Side Strike right here. And at this point, the game gets a little bit interesting. I am going to let this one go through because we will survive. And I'm going to look to get to the side strike. Let's see if they're going to shield this right here. I mean, they're debuffed as well, so they do shield. I swap out, able to farm down the Giratina, saving that shield. And the opponent doesn't want the smoke. They're going to back out of that matchup. We take that game. Let's hop into the next one right here. 2-0 to start off this set. Dialga into Melmetal. One of the worst leads to see right here, so we are going to swap out into the Mewtwo. And the opponent brings in a Zacian, which of course isn't the best answer to Mewtwo, so things are looking pretty good here. We have a decent chance of flipping switch. Going to shield up this play rough right here. Went a little over 100 energy, I think, right there, which isn't ideal, but it's okay. Side strike comes through. We are going to look to get the CMP tie right here, which it looks like we did. Opponent is going to actually not be CMP tie. We get to another side strike right here. Very, very nice. And let's see if we shield this up. I mean, we should because we want to win switch, of course. Close combat, very interesting. They swap out into Melmetal. We're going to bring in the Landorus. Perfect right here. We have the alignment that we want. Going to tank a rock slide right here. As you can see, it doesn't do too much to Landorus. We could still tank another one as well, but probably not after this debuff right here. So let's see if this is enough to knock out the Melmetal. It is not. Wasn't sure if I could farm down there, so I am just going to throw this second superpower, ensure that we get rid of this Melmetal. Togekiss in the back. We will be able to just barely reach this Stone Edge before getting knocked out. That does a lot of damage. And a pretty tough spot right here. I will come in with the Dialga. I know the opponent's going to swap out into the Zacian, look to catch me with the close combat. This is fine because we have a move ready to go on the Mewtwo. So we farm down, get the Ice Beam, and do a little bit of overkill here on this Togekiss. Even if they have a move ready, Mewtwo wins all the CMPs. We take that game. 3-0 to start this set. Now we could relax because that should be enough for 2 points. But I have already got negative points from a 3-2 set during this season, so nothing is guaranteed at this point. A pretty rough lead right here. Swap out into the Mewtwo. Opponent is staying in. I did let the Snarl sneak in there, which is not ideal. Side strike dealing huge damage. They swap out into Giratina. So I'm going to build up to the Ice Beam Shadow Ball, but throw the side strike. Pretty much makes sense to just go side strike in this matchup right here. We actually get the side strike here as well. This does not look like it is CMP though, so they might commit to the farm down, which they are going to do. Now last time I completely threw in this situation, got hit by 2 Shadow Balls. This time I'm gonna let the first one go through, and I am going to shield the second one because it's probably another Shadow Ball, as we saw. Yes, it is. So I'm going to swap out into Landorus, and we see Dialga come in right here. So this worked out very well for us. Going to go for the superpower. And that's not going to KO, which is unfortunate. Have a decision to make here. I am going to shield, but this game is basically over because Zacian has a move ready to go. We will win CMP here, but unfortunately I cannot swap out, so I have pretty much no play here unless I could somehow farm down the Zacian with Dialga, which, as we know, is not going to work against a fairy type. So can I get to the Iron Head? No, we cannot. We are going to lose this game. 3-1. We need to clutch out this 5th and final battle here of this set to guarantee that we make expert rank. Let's see if we can do it right here. Bonobo Mitt GTR. We got Dialga lead into the mirror match. So Dialga on Dialga crime right here. Looks like we got a lead there with the Dragon Breath against the opponents. We're going to throw the Iron Head. They probably are not at the Iron Head themselves as a result, so they do swap out. I believe they're like 1 or 2 Dragon Breaths short if they were in fact behind on energy there at the start of the battle. So keep that in mind for the end. Going to throw the side strike here. Opponent does shield. We are going to match the shield here on the Stone Edge. And they're going to throw a move. I'm going to let this go through. Totally fine. And build up close to 2 side strikes if I can. Actually going to build up to exactly 2 side strikes right here. Throw this. This will be enough to take out the Landorus. They come in with Metagross, so unfortunately this isn't going to be doing anything right here to the opponent. I could have definitely threw another 2 Psycho Cuts, but it's okay. Swap out to Landorus, knowing that they can't really bring in Dialga here. So I'm going to throw the Superpower. And this will likely get the shield from the opponent. And now I'm going to have to match the shield. But now I know that once I match this, they're going to swap out into Dialga. But they're not at the move yet, remember? So that means we get to the Superpower first, which means Bang! There it is. Dialga gets taken out, and this game is pretty much over right here. Going for the superpower on the Metagross. That's not going to be enough to take them out, but they need energy, so they're over farming. We get to a second one, and a great way to end this video with the MVP of the team, Landorus, closing it out, getting us to expert rank with that 4-1 set. Very happy with the performance of this team. So those were the battles in the Master League Classic on my journey to the expert rank, with this team consisting of Best Buddy Dialga, Landorus Therian form, and Mewtwo with Ice Beam operating as the safe switch. This is a very fun team, highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for a team to use on Go Battle Day for the Master League Classic. I had only one negative set using this team. Granted, it was an 05, but for the most part, mostly positive sets here. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, commenting, subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.